and welcome to the most upvoted class of this camp. I thank you for your trust because a lot of people turn their vote in who don't probably know me. So, while it might be hard to believe, there are other towns in Estonia than Tallinn. Far, far south, there's a town called Tartu, and that means there's other jiu-jitsu camps, other jiu-jitsu gyms than 3D training in Estonia. And I'm from one. So, name is Jorgen. Started dabbling in jiu-jitsu in 2002, 2003. Met Christian 2004 first, when we were still both in SPG. And yeah, it's been a long and fun ride. So, I'm a psychologist by training. So that's kind of counseling, teaching, psychology stuff. Therapy is what I do outside of martial arts. That's like a hobby to me. But it kind of joins the passion of teaching adults. It's kind of like my thing. I really like to do it, both on and off the mats. And with wrestling, is that teaching wrestling for adults who haven't wrestled since they were young is really, really hard. Because how the kids do it, they do a lot of technique, and they wrestle a lot, and they compete a lot. But if you put adults on that schedule, they will get bored, they will get tired, and they will get hurt. So, and especially if you don't dedicate yourself to wrestling for like 3 and more times per week. Most people who do jiu-jitsu, they can't dedicate themselves to wrestling more than once, maybe twice per week, maybe start standing sometime, and so forth and so on. So I'm sharing my idea. I've kind of distilled it down to like, I would say it's like a 6-class course, but I'm sharing some ideas from that course, which if you repeat only that material, you will be good enough for a jiu-jitsu setting, for takedowns in the context of jiu-jitsu or even ADCC, I would say, going up against people your level. How many of you have never ever learned a single or double leg before? Any of those out here? So, okay, a couple. Most of you have done some. Any real wrestlers here? Like freestyle wrestlers? Like proper wrestlers? No, good. Maybe they'll sneak in. So, we're gonna need definitely both mats. So don't be scared to spread yourself even into the cage and everywhere. So, I'm gonna need an okay. Christina, I'll take you first. I know you. Maybe I'll use other larger people. So, first of all, we start off with one game. So, we start off with a simple game where I get points. It's a game, we get points. I get point for slapping the knee, like that. So, that's 1 point, that's 1 point, that's 2 points, right? So, be honest to yourself, like this with the fingers doesn't count. So, that's how you get points, right? 2 other things you get points for. If I can make her both hands touch the ground, so let's say she's hunched over and I kind of can make her do this, that's also 1 point. So if I can make her both arms or both knees touch the ground, that's also 1 point. If I make her go all fours, that's 2 points, right? So slapping the knee, getting both arms, I can do myself this, I don't want to do this, right? So arms on the ground, 1 point, both knees on the ground, 1 point, slapping the knee, like clean on the side, 1 point. Simple. Objective is to get as much points as possible in comparison to my training partner. And we do 2 1-minute rounds. Grab a partner, find some space. This game, relatively safe as compared to actually wrestling. You can do it in the first class, teach it in 5 minutes. It will teach you about the stance and movement which you are going to use in wrestling if you do it over time. In freestyle wrestling, that's like freestyle wrestling for no-gi, what we're doing today. Tomorrow I'm going to teach a class on tie-ups and kind of upper body stuff. Today is going to be all legs. They go nicely together. So, Christina. So the next thing, we're kind of getting into the class now. Okay. So, those who know some tie-ups can already take a tie-up and go for the legs from there. If you haven't wrestled before, just think about that if I want to start to attack the legs, we're doing like takedowns, single legs and double legs today. The most important thing is my posture when we are in contact. Like if we're grappling, I can do like this here if I want to. My position can be like this. But in the moment that we get into any kind of contact, like she grabs my wrist, I want to be bend it from the knees, kind of bend it from the waist, back straight, head up, right? So that's the posture. And right now, I just make sure that I will get if you're an MMA guy, you can start from here. That doesn't matter right now, we're getting to the legs. So I want to make contact with my shoulder. We'll take the simplest thing. I want to make contact with my shoulder right above the hip bone. And at that point, when I make contact, I want to be in good posture. Back straight, head up, shoulder in, head against the side. So I want to be here. And if I get into that point, just right now, even put your hands behind your back. Like I will do like a little exercise there. You level change. Don't have to put the knee on the ground. Just think about you have to get there. So I have to get into this position where I'm able to actually kind of push. So I get into this position. I get back. I do one on the other side. Kind of moving her a little bit. And now it's her turn. So I'm here. I'm just acting with partner. Comes in and pushes me a couple of steps. Comes in and pushes me a couple of steps. So let's try that real quick. So you get into your posture. The position. Like it's not the topic of this class. It's more about the topic of tomorrow, but you just have to get there. Like to be able to attack the legs, you have to get there. One of the best setups I've used in competition is that when we start to grapple, like we're moving around here, doing this, and then getting into the position. Really good setup. Before the contact, you get that tension away and you get into position. So, but that's now one position I want to be in. Why I did this is that this will help you remember the fundamentally correct body position. Head up, shoulder in the stomach, head here, and back straight. Like the golden rule here is that if I consider the last point of my spine, my tailbone, right? And kind of or my upper body, and the first kind of point is this, the crown of the head, right? Then I need to think about that when I'm wrestling, like obviously rules are made to be broken and whatever, but in general, I never want a kind of the higher side point to be lower than the next point. So I can go like this, but I will never go this. Or my head can be up, but I will never do this, because now somewhere in my mid back, there are points that every next point should be at least half a millimeter lower than the previous one. Makes sense? This is going to be big, and I want your training partners to immediately give feedback on that. So let's say I'm getting into position like this, and she will just tap me on my back, because, yes, that will. And now see what happens. If I'm, this is easy to keep the posture like this. But if I start to grab now, which is a mistake people do a lot, then the natural way for my spine to move when I start to grab is I'm getting hunched. That's a big, big no-no. So when I grab, I always want to make sure that I grab and then I pull against me. So I still have my thorax forward and I still have the correct, like on point of contact, I want to have the perfect posture. Now we're grabbing one leg. We're grabbing one leg. That's first possibility. We're going to show both, obviously. There's two possibilities. I'm either grabbing one leg or two legs, right? Wrestling from the legs. That's all you can do. And what I want is that when I'm wrestling for takedown on the lower body, I want 1 foot off the ground ASAP. And that's why the push is needed. Because if I'm just here, it's kind of hard to lift that, right? But if I'm doing this, then the leg becomes light. And I want 1 foot off the ground, one leg off the ground ASAP when wrestling the legs. What we're doing now is that I'm grabbing the single leg. Do whatever grip. Don't do this, like in jiu-jitsu also, you never do this, right? But whatever jiu-jitsu grip you can and you know, you grab the leg, you pull it towards you, and you extend your chest. So that's your single leg. And the objective is to always move your training partner. So I'm going here, I'm grabbing, and I'm always moving while keeping the correct posture. That's your single leg. Back up a little, move it forward. And I'm going to introduce another position, And I can do my single leg with two positions. Head outside and head inside. I put the head to the, somewhere the chest area, like against the chest cavity here, or the, what's the thing called? Sternum, yes. So I want the head here. So here, the shoulder and the head push. Here, the shoulder and the head push. Here my shoulder is glued on the other side and the head is kind of pushing. So, you can switch between those. We have a single leg, head inside, head outside. Now, your position will get compromised, but there's never too late to fix that. But I want to fix it as early as possible. So obviously, when I'm going here, when I start to switch, I will fix it immediately. When I notice my posture goes bad, I will fix it ASAP. So grab the single leg, move your partner around, try switching head inside, head outside. Go. So, we have posture, we have the single leg, and now I'm kind of showing you that I will chain wrestle, actually. Or before I do takedowns, there are double legs, single legs, variations. But actually, I want to be able to switch positions first, because if you look at good wrestlers, they chain together several movements. Because the first one usually gets defended when I go against anybody competent, right? And one of the directions to move, good jiu-jitsu-wise especially, is I move towards the back. So that's always what has to be there. That's one direction. I'm grabbing the one leg, always moving, never stop moving, mostly forward. Like a little bit, do your same steps as you did in the game. I want to move towards the back. Grab the hip here, kind of like throw your shoulder, grab the hip here, try to look at the back. When I can see the back, I can get the back. And I just like shuck her by. Whoop. Grab any kind of reasonable grip you like. Obviously palm to palm is the best, but you can do this as well. And here as well, exert pressure a little bit as well. So I won't stop here, like, okay, good job. But what I will do is that I will go here, shuck by, and keep moving like that. A little bit, a couple of steps, then let go. Take turns, 1 and 1 or 2 and 2, and you try moving towards the back. Okay? Go. You have to be quick because it's like small snippets of information and you have to try out everything, but the picture will come together now. So that's one direction. I can always move towards the back, right? I can also move through the front. I don't do it too often, but like for the sake of practicing chain wrestling and in specific situations, it will become really useful. Because, like the most classic movement, if I want to move through the front, is that I switch from double to single. Because I never just want to let go, right? I always keep some kind of a grip if I'm already in the position, in contact. So, I can get into the double leg position, really easily pushing, switching, and now I can switch to the single leg on the other side, right? Now I move through the front. I can go to the back also from the head inside single, just the same, grab, chuck by, and you're here. And basically, I would advise to do it really slowly if it is unfamiliar to you, but actually I can now do the full circle. One leg, two legs, that's one of the variables. Either I'm grabbing one leg or two legs. Second variable is the head position, head outside, head inside. And the third one is the direction I'm going, towards the back or through the front. And basically, that's all there is to chain wrestling. Let me do a short demo so you can think with me. So, I will go to my single leg. I can also go straight to the double. Double leg, 1 foot off the ground. Go towards the back. From the back, drop to the single. Switch to the double. Other side single. Towards the back. You see, I'm doing the full circle. And that's all there is to chain wrestling. I'm switching between directions, to the back through the front. I'm switching my head position, head inside, head outside, and I'm switching, keeping one leg or two legs. If I lose both, I immediately just think about I need to get one off the ground, ASAP. For those who are curious about shots and guillotines, the switching head position will protect you there as well. Because my head is on the outside, she goes for a guillotine, she loses it when I switch the head inside. If she goes for a power guillotine, you know what power guillotine is? Like, start to go for that, he has these types of chokes. Switch the head to the outside, and you're for the same from there, right? So this head, like, you're never, those who tell you, like, do a takedowns head inside, you won't get guillotined, they're wrong, because there are guillotines from head inside position. But switching between those positions will protect you from guillotines. This would be one extra class, like guillotine defense. But right now, think about one leg, two legs. One leg, two legs. Head outside, head inside. Head outside, fixing position, head inside. Towards the back, moving, 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 towards the front, throughout the front. So these are the body position. That's like what got me thinking, like in Greco, you have this pummeling thing, right? Grip fighting and pummeling. But I didn't find this in freestyle. But that's like your freestyle attacking flow now. That's the positions that you're gonna encounter. And if your position gets compromised, fix it. For example, if you already know how to wrestle, you can start to add a little bit of defense. So let's say I'm going here, and she will start to sprawl, right? Or she will put a frame in front, put the frame, you will move into the next position and fix your position. If you know somewhat how to wrestle, you can start to troubleshoot these situations already. If this is new to you, just think about, okay, one leg, two legs, always moving, one leg, two legs, one leg, head outside, head inside, head outside, towards the back. Here you have your back position, and also from the back to the front, pick up the single or double again, and go through the front. Okay, I'll give like 5 minutes to that, go really slowly, but try to understand the whole 360 flow. Go. Ask me over if you got questions. So, couple of things I noticed and I was asked, which I will address also in the larger group, which makes sense. First of all, these three elements, one leg, two legs, one leg, two legs, head outside, head inside, head outside, head inside, and moving one direction or another direction, I can combine them all independently. Which means that my double legs aren't only head outside, or my single legs aren't only head inside. There can be situations, obviously some situations might be better than others for some specific things, but in general, for example, classic example, if I'm here in the single leg, and she will put the leg frame, yeah, leg frame, common single leg defense. What I don't think about like, what's the counter to that? I think about how I fix my position. So my head is not in contact, right? My head is not in contact, so I can't kind of force myself through the shin here. What I will do is that I will move in either direction. I will always take the shortest route possible. So it would be here, if the frame is here, I will do this. And now there's a double leg chance here. Or for the sake of now, you can just switch, right? The other thing was that like getting from the back to the front again. This is like the least scenario, but least probable scenario, but there is use for that as well. Because I want to stick to my opponent like glue. If I already have good position, I want to keep that millisecond advantage. And if I lose it a little bit, I want to improve. So I never want to give my opponent, when chain wrestling, I never want to give my opponent what is called tempo, like in chess, for example, or kind of the advantage, the little advantage that I'm leading the dance here, okay? And here, for example, it starts to break my grip. Like I'm holding here, wanting to take it back, and start break. So I'm losing. If this happens, I've lost my advantage, right? Now we're likely to get neutral. But if I kind of preemptively do this, then everything is good. I still have my advantage, right? So I want to stick to my opponent like glue and always think about even better position. Like contact-wise, how I feel, how much control I have over the opponent's body. So now we move into actual takedowns. Like this is kind of now you have down the chain wrestling drill. Really safe drill. You can do it for warm-ups, and you want to kind of go instinctively in the end. That will make you a good chain wrestler, switching between these positions, right? You will develop your own grips and stuff. Setups, I didn't cover setups. I will cover that tomorrow, kind of. Let's, for today, assume that I'm already attacking the legs, that I've been able to get in for the grab. So everybody be here tomorrow as well. Yes, so first thing I'm going to do is that first type of takedowns. I'm going to introduce now 3 types of takedowns, or 3 types of movements when doing leg takedowns, which will cover 95% of all takedowns. And the first one is to lift. And while this is not, lifting takes some strength, it's a really good exercise to develop strength, and also it's a really good test for my my posture and how I control my body. You might not like lift people when actually wrestling, but it's good to practice within this drill because it's also really safe. Let me show you. So I'm in position, let's say head outside, single, and I'm thinking lift. So for lifting, I have to get my center of gravity below my training partners, and then I will just lean back. So I can't lift anybody like this. I will strain my back. So what I want is that I want center of gravity below training partner, and then just lean back. Because then I lift with my legs. Okay, I will take somebody heavier, like a big guy, maybe not like 100 kilos, but like 90 kilo guy, somewhere who's up for like being lifted. Okay, you come here. Actually, he's also so tall, it becomes so easy to lift. So I'm in this position, so I can't lift like this. Okay? I can take also heavy, so it doesn't matter. And I will have to get my center of gravity below this, which right now is really simple because I'm so short compared to him. And I will lift with my legs. And that's that. So I'm coming in, and I'm essentially doing this. So I'm lifting with as straight back as possible. For us, the most common situation where to kind of do the lift is actually from the back. So I'm here, let's say I went double, single hops back. So I'm here. I have to get my center of gravity below his. So I have to move in kind of here. And I will lift with my legs. And the good thing about jiu-jitsu is that like throwing him on his shoulders for like 4 points, that's really hard. That takes technique. I just have to get him down somehow to get my 2 points. Or in MMA, to just get him down. So in the end, it's going to be like, I just have to figure out a way how to little bit turn him, and maybe like drag him and turn him, but eventually it will all collapse. And that's fine, I get my 2 points. But, come up, right now, so when I get the lift, when I get 2 feet off the ground, eventual takedowns will be easy if I get a good lift. So just turn, drag him down somewhat. But don't do that. Right now, I lift my training partner up, I put them down. So that's a very safe exercise. So, all possible positions. I did already single leg, right? I can also do double. Think about where your weight is. Can't lift from here. Wait. Weight under him, then lean back, okay? And again, now you can do the lift from every position you imagined in the previous drill. And there are actually like even really good, like you'll find out that's like a specific example. But let's say I have my head in set single. He goes for the leg frame, put the leg out, leg frame. Basically he lifts himself. Yeah, so so now you do the same drill, take turns, try to find your measured slow lift and put them back to their feet from all kinds of positions. Do it.
This is easy.
Okay, so you got your first idea of takedown now. Obviously, if it would be a longer class, I would slowly incorporate, like, okay, turn them, try to put them down, right? Or kind of some other finishes from there. But actually, finishes from there are easy. Basically, when I get the controlled lift, I turn whichever way feels more comfortable in that moment, because I just have to get the legs off the way, right? And then they land, depending on the direction, either on all fours, which is fine by me. I get my 2 points, or I can take the back, or I can start hammering away, depending on the sport context. Or I will land them on the side, on the shoulders, to the other way, right? It depends on which way I'm going from lift. So, lift is first. So you have your chain wrestling, and from chain wrestling you can lift. And you should always also in this drill sometimes get in for the lift, because that will teach you how to coordinate your body and keep the composure there. So, second one is block. And that means now that, remember, one leg off the ground ASAP, there's another leg that supports the weight. So I will block the other leg, whichever means possible. The classic example is the classic double leg. So I get in, here's my double, and now here's the block. I block the supporting leg. Now, really important is that when I do the block, after blocking, my movement needs to be like in the direction where the block works best. Meaning if I block from the side, that's the way I'm gonna go, right? Really common example here, like a really common thing that happens. I go for double leg and this will happen because I'm not moving in the direction of the block. Block points there, but I'm moving spirally away from the block. The second I will start to move towards the block, she will fall. Right? So that's what I need to take into account. The direction of the block. And while this is the classic block, I can block whichever means I want, with my hand or with my foot. Right? So for example, like let's say I go double leg here, didn't work out. I go single leg, try to drag. Okay, blocking like this, not very comfortable. Whoop, there's a block. Points this way the block works. If I start to run this way, she will jump out of it. But this direction, block will work. Examples of hand blocks, right? Foot blocks, basically your hooks and trips and stuff. The only thing, like, if I'm doing this game, never kick the other leg. Because there's no point to kick the leg that supports all her weight. Right? So if I'm having this, the typical example is that people will try to do this. It doesn't happen because all the weight is on there. So with blocks, one thing is the direction of the block, and the other thing is that I want to take her weight over the block. So in this case, I'm taking the weight over the block, pushing with my head. Right? With foot blocks, it's easy. Boom, let's say I'm here, some kind of weird position. Okay, I can block here. Don't fall yet. Block's direction, somewhere there. Right, this is the direction the block works. I don't think about pushing with this foot. I will just go, take her body over the block. That's that. Kind of inside hook, outside hook. You can combine all that. Okay, that's the second one. There's 3 altogether. The block. So now you take the same drill and you find your blocks from all positions. Go. You are already familiar with the third one, at least in some capacity. Okay, the third one, final one. So we have lift and we have block. The final one is kind of back step or spiral, right? So your classic running the pipe, right? You have your head outside single, and you're kind of moving forward, like I can't do it out of the blue, I have to get my opponent moving forward, but when they push into me, that's the right spot when to do that. But the head outside running the pipe gives you too limited view, because again, actually I can do it from all those positions. Let's say I'm going for my single, switching to the double, and I can complete the double this way. So the movement is same. The idea here is that I have one leg off the ground, which I need to do anyway all times ASAP, right? And before I either lift it or block the supporting leg, now I'm pulling towards, in a spiral, towards the leg that is off the ground, while keeping it off the ground. Again, you can use like this or just to keep it close, but I'm pulling like in a spiral, and really important here is good position. Keep your balance, so this won't cut it. Correct position. Main mistake when finishing the turnings is that you compromise your body position. When my head leaves the side, when my chest leaves the thigh, it's not going to work. So really important here is that, say I have this, I need to be here, on top of the leg. On top of the leg, and my head needs to be here. Now I'm pulling, and this position stays the same. Okay? It only works this way. If you had trouble previously with finishing that takedown, that they just jump and nothing really happens, it's because your body position. You want your perfect position, and now I want to go lower while keeping that position. So let's say I have this leg, that's the supporting leg. Spiral, 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 spiral. And you see my body position, it's still the same. Okay? So, that's your turn. Find your turn. Or spiral. Go. Last one. Okay, and basically now we head into the final drill. I will do the final kind of the demonstration, and then we'll take a group picture. You now have all the elements, right? You have your positions. You already chain wrestled the positions, right? And kind of, I always, just as I said to Omar, I think, don't see what you want. Anyway, so I always switch directions, and I try to be, as soon as I can, I try to be non-conscious about it. I'm not thinking techniques, I'm thinking about movement and which way I can better my body position in relation to my training partner or my opponent, right? So I can't say like, let's say the single leg, I have the single leg, she puts in the knee shield. I have multiple options. I could just think about, okay, I need to get towards the back, what's wrong with my position here? She will start to push away, and now I have a good position again. Might be the simplest way. Or she puts the knee shield, and I will know, aha, I will go for the lift because I feel the weight is there. Or she will put the knee shield, and I will go through the front. Right? So all these directions are available. I just think about like getting better position, better position, better position, and then the takedown happens. In 3 modes, block, lift, or spiral. And now the thing is I can combine those 3 as well. So I might go, let's say I'm going here, kind of moving, let's say I go through the back, and I have to see for practicing sake. Okay, I want to do the running the bike. Something sucks. Body position gets compromised, right? I would just want to improve my body position. And now maybe a good chance to block. Let's say she falls there, and she gets up. Gets up, I will continue moving towards the back. All the while that all is happening, so I'm constantly improving my body position. Good example also, let's say, take the double, go to the back. Okay, maybe I should try the block. Doesn't happen, do the spiral with the block. And actually this is going to be like a candy to those who kind of know their double legs already. How many of those who actually use double leg? Show me your hands. Okay. So, you have your power double, right? You go into the double and the lift, like Matt Hughes style. If you're old enough to remember who Matt Hughes is, besides domestic abuser. So you have this like going in, grabbing, lifting, and doing your takedown. But the classic one is block, right? So you block and run over the block. But see what happens if I combine the two. I will actually, where's the big guy? Yeah, sure, there, thanks. So, actually I will make it more easy to me because he's taller. So, I will go into the position of double. Classic would be to just block and run over. But I block, the leg becomes light. You see, when I try to just put in my hips for the lift, see what happens. Moves, moves, moves. Can you take a hard fall? I will do one on you. Are you comfortable with falling? Okay. So when I do it faster, it seems like a power move, but I will explain it to you in a second. So I go in for my double. Like. So it's really hard to kind of show in a demonstrative way, because it will just be legs flying around. But I'm not using, like obviously I'm using strength. But the idea here, I will go slowly, is that when I pop my hips in here as I would for the lift, then what happens is that he will fall over that point, get tipped over. And when I do it fast, it seems like I'm kind of picking it up and throwing it all the way. Like with like muscles. But it's all like, just whoop, tilt him over. So, final 3 minutes, then the group picture. Combine chain wrestling, combine your blocks, lift, like when you try to complete one, didn't work, go for the other. Block, spiral, lift, lift, spiral, block, 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 spiral. So you do your thing. Okay? 3 minutes, go! Anybody good at math here? At mathematics, mathematician. So you have kind of, you can now figure out, like you have 2 head positions, inside, outside, 1 leg, 2 legs, towards the back, towards the front, and from every position, 3 modes or 3 types of takedowns, your lifts, your blocks, and spirals, right? So how many possible variations or takedowns now you know? Right, if combining all those, right? Which would be pointless to learn it like, okay, this is the single head, inside, back step, single. You will learn it for like months, now you learn it in an hour. But my best advice, like do the drill. If you find ways for improving that drill, let me know, because I want to improve too. And I hope you found it nice. And see you tomorrow, because then I will cover how to actually, I won't repeat the same material at all, but we'll have a place for how to get in on the shots. So sometime tomorrow, check out the schedule. Please group picture as well, because it's going to be huge.